Yo, what is good? Apologize, the mic adjustment right there. What is good, my anime people? What is up? Guys, Afterlost was very interesting this week. Had me lost for a minute, but I'm back in it. This week we pick up right where we left off, and I love shows that don't really like to beat around the bush and give us some other stuff that completely has nothing to do with the story that we were already being told. So that was not the case this week. We literally hop in and get to see slash hear some very informational things within this week's episode. Um, One of those things being that the artifacts are pretty much the source of a lot of the problems as of lately. As we know, this artifact was something that, because they had it the way that they did, they were trying to be able to control or use power out of their control by holding the artifacts, because clearly it has some type of effect of bringing out latent abilities or just the ability to kind of interact with people who have been lost. And what I say about been lost is just like the father, or just like the bodyguard, when this flash of light happens, everybody kind of caught it. Like everybody got hit by it. So to think that that is where the show is leading, it puts into perspective how much could actually occur within these next couple of episodes. Seeing how one thing was pretty much telling us the fact that um, once you're lost, there's a way to bring you from that world, but just not as a physical being. You will be back and you will be as one of these spirits, practically being controlled. And from what we learned from the bodyguard when he's getting absolutely destroyed on, is that by maintaining one's will, it seems like you can keep them activated for much longer than usual. So a lot of things came out of this episode, like I was saying, and that's kind of the good point for me is being lost in a show that you enjoy kind of sucks. So once you start understanding and getting filled in with what the actual story is going to intend of, or at least have a part of in this overall grand scheme of things, is a lot better, because now I know that the brother pretty much is still in a position thinking that he's the one in the right. He's the one doing what's best for his sister. He's the one doing what's best for them. And because of what we learn from his perspective is, like I was saying, you know, once you have an older sibling or a younger sibling, you kind of understand some of the things that are going on just out of necessity of someone trying to do good by their family, do good by their loved one. And that is what happened this week with the brother really trying to, the younger brother really trying to figure out where his older brother has gone and what could have been done to him. And from what we can find, what we can kind of piece together, because it wasn't specified or like outright like told to us, is, I think we're gonna get a cutscene, but what happened was, um, with the whole entire um, change of this world explosion thing, it looked very controlled. It looked very set up, like almost as if I if I had the ability to pretty much have people be inside the Lost and absolutely get destroyed by it, that's what this looked like. It looked like we are going against people who can either tell where the losses were going to occur, or they can just control them all together. So that would be a ridiculous amount of power for one thing. And another thing is, we don't understand exactly what he would even want this power for, or what he would possibly be capable of doing after learning how to pretty much wield it in any way, shape, or form, seeing how um, they pretty much said they had his little brother and they were going to, do whatever they said to get him where he was or where he went, and by getting him there, they instantly activated the loss explosion. Thus, uh, we see him as a spirit being controlled by Soma. Um, and it looks like every single spirit or such needs an artifact to bring them about. But the thing that was interesting to me is the artifact that Soma was using was to amplify himself and not to bring out others to do his bidding. So, if that's the case, it's almost as if the same thing that our main girl was doing, he was doing it with he had to have an artifact to be capable of doing it. And not only was he capable of doing it, he was as if he was one of the people from the loss using these abilities, just like how the guy summons up all those guns and starts shooting. He was the transmuter, and the artifact was really just his way of tapping into his potential, in my opinion. So that's kind of what I got from how his abilities were working this week, because not only when the artifact breaks, he loses his little glow, but then after uh, pulling out another one, the glow got stronger. His hair even started sticking up, as if this artifact is much, much more powerful than the one he was dealing with, which made a lot of sense seeing how the other one was battle damage heavily. So it's getting really interesting with these artifacts. We also had Soma lose this battle, so now we have control of him, but at the same time, we learn that there's someone within the organization that Soma's working for that somehow, some way, they are saying that the main guy with the white hair who took the older brother over the younger brother after he did the disappearing act, he comes along and pretty much gives us this weird, like, nonchalant, I don't care if Soma's gone. And then hearing that a girl who supposedly can, like, maybe see a little bit of the events that are going to transpire within a day or within a couple of hours or something, she can see something along the lines of future for people or something, because the girl asked her, if you knew this was going to happen, why did you allow it, or why didn't you say anything? And her answer was, isn't this what you wanted? Like, isn't this all going according to plan? So that right there gave me a good feeling that we don't understand necessarily what these guys are capable of, not only what they're capable of, but what do they have up their sleeves for such a moments where you're seemingly not even capable of beating certain people, but then all of a sudden you get a second wind, and maybe because of this new turn of events of someone being with them, he seems pretty lost. Like, his mind, his thought process on how he's looking at his sister, all of it seems relatively uh, not fully there. Or maybe someone's put some information in his head to make him feel even more negative or something towards his sister. But whatever it is, it feels like that is why they don't care that he's been picked up, that he's been, in the hands of the enemy. Because imagine, just because he's in the hands of the enemy, it does not change the fact that they can try to believe in him and see if he betrays them or if he gives them the heads up play that they need by being in the enemy's vicinity, thinking that he's safe for them to be around, and then as soon as he wakes up, he absolutely wrecks everything. So that could be their plan for why it didn't matter for him to get captured, nor did it matter for the girl who could see the future to tell anybody about it. So I want to know why she could have known what was going to happen, and also the fact that when the spirit that the girl summoned was attacked and absolutely destroyed, she was taking damage when he was taking damage, but when he disappears and dissipates, she's fine. Like she didn't die or anything from it, you know? So very, very interesting overall episode this week. I really, really enjoyed it, and I want to know what you guys are feeling about it, if you're still keeping up with the series, or if you dropped it altogether. With all that being said, though, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. Happy Mother's Day, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.